First question to you, Neeraja, on the networking across generations. You're recognized as a networking expert who has facilitated countless forums. And how has the purpose of networking evolved from when you began to now in the digital first era?
So thank you for that question. I think there cannot be any conversation without asking me the question on networking. Because most of the times when I walk into a room in networking, Neeraja, and probably they don't know anything else about me but the fact that I network well and I enable others to network well. Getting to your question, right? Let's start with the definition of networking. So networking is all about giving. Networking is all about adding value. And this has been the definition forever, I think. This has been the definition from the past. This is the definition today. And I think that this is the definition that's going to stay when you talk about networking. Now, the question is, what can we give? What is the value that we can provide? It obviously depends on how well we have understood the other person with whom we are trying to network in terms of what is the other person's aspiration. What are the challenges that they are facing? What might be the resources that they are looking for, right? Now, let me give you a very simple example. So, Tayan KDR referred me as a guest to you, Ravi. He provided value to you, and he provided value to me. It's as simple as that. You're looking for guests, and I'm looking for platforms to share my thought and thought leadership. It can be as simple as that. So you don't have to really, think through and, reflect to say what is the value that I can provide to somebody else. And the minute we do this, now we've connected, and I'm sure this is going to be a long-standing relationship, and we'll explore what opportunities both of us can provide to each other, collaborate, and do more, right? And this is all networking is. Another story, if I can kind of give, is many years ago, I think it was 2016, I met this lady called Padmaja Narsipur. She is the founder of Clearly Blue Digital, and more recently she's launched another platform called as Adaptive Learning Labs. Now, she was a mentor on Jobs for Her, which is where I met her because I'm also a mentor on that platform. Today, Jobs for Her is called Her Key. So when I quit from my corporate, I was meeting people with whom I had connected already because I really didn't want to get into the corporate grind again. I wanted to do something very new, something different with an impact. So I was just meeting all these people, and I was not meeting them to ask them for a job or opportunity. I just wanted to assist them if I could in some ways. I bring in some value with my years of wisdom. Now, this was 2016, 2017 when I met her for the first time. Over the years, we explored many opportunities to collaborate. Some did go ahead, some did not, but we stayed connected. We helped each other in whichever way we could. I could probably give her some client referrals, speaking gigs. She did the same with me. But this year, 2025, is when we've really expanded our collaboration, and we've launched a couple of cohorts of personal branding workshops. People who attended that further sought me out for one-on-one mentoring. Many other interventions have come by.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is we started this in 2016. We started it, just as a conversation on a platform, but always thinking about what is the value that each of us can provide to each other. Now, whether it fructifies into financial gain or not, and there are so many other, not tangible benefits that we get out of this. And it could take time. This one may have taken, the financial benefit of it may have happened 7-8 years later. But the relationship that we have nurtured over the years has really blossomed into something fabulous, right? And that is networking. So I don't think this has changed over a period of time, and I don't see it changing. However, with the digital era, I think it's just made it a lot more easier and a lot more expansive. You don't have to necessarily end up at an event to find someone who you don't know and start to build a new relationship. I can sit at home and network today. And again, a story here is I was going through LinkedIn one of the days, and I saw there is this lady who had put out a post that she was speaking at a particular event. That event sounded very fantastic. I mean, in terms of the platform that was hosting the event, sounded very fantastic. And I thought I would like to know a little more about that event. So I just connected with her on LinkedIn. She put me across to someone, and this was just a LinkedIn connect. But I think she looked at my profile. Something must have, kind of impacted, inspired her. She said, "Would you like to come on my podcast?" Which I did. And then we've stayed connected, and more opportunities have emerged from there. So I've never met her in person. And that's what the digital part of it. Today, you can sit at home and network. You don't necessarily have to go all out to an external event and a meetup. Of course, do that,
Yeah.
but it is extremely simple. Be at home, use all the digital platforms available to you, start connecting with people with the only thing in mind: what is the value that I can extend to the other person?
Certainly, Nisha. A lot of insights over there. I think our audience are going to love those. You made it very, very simple in terms of how to network sitting at home. So, Sneha, as someone who coaches LinkedIn personal branding for a lot of senior professionals, young professionals, how do you see authentic networking differing from transactional connections as such?
Thank you. So I think I will lead off from where my mom was just finishing, which is I think one thing I have also seen. So let's put this out there that networking does not have age, time, gender, career background, experience. None of it matters. And there is no mandate that if you're networking with somebody to build some kind of connection, some kind of a relationship, you have to do it with somebody who does the same thing as you, or who is from a similar background, or who in some way is going to have some relationship with you in some format, professional, personal. There is no such mandate. The more rare and random it feels, the better, is what I would say, because very natural human tendency is you're bound to talk to people that are easier to talk to for you.
Yeah.
So the best networks are those where you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone to speak to somebody who you may not speak to otherwise. Because what's the point? I probably would anyway speak to like a person who's who's a data analyst because that's what I do for a day job. But I might never speak to a fashion designer. So that's when I need to expand my network. So I think this is the first thing I feel about authentic leadership, authentic networking, which is in general, let go of the idea that you have to have X knowledge of a subject before you can talk to a person and build a network with them. The whole point of building a network is for both of you to learn. So, and all of us are always coming in with something. And none of us is just sitting here with nothing inside our brains. We've lived, I've lived 23 years on this planet, and people have lived years and years on this planet. There is always something that we can talk about. And if nothing else, you can talk about the food you ate for breakfast. There's always something to talk. So don't hold yourself back from interactions out of any kind of fear or inhibition of a lack of topic or a lack of knowledge of the subject. So that's the first thing. And I think when it comes to authenticity, right, what we're having here right now, it's just these simple conversations. It's choosing to show up who you are without having to think that, oh, the other person's maybe going to think about me saying, oh, this person's not experienced, I should not talk to them. Choose to show up as who you are. Choose to show up with whatever unique value you bring to the table. Don't think about, oh, my value is this, what is the other person's value, how is it going to impact me, how am I going to impact him? Don't go into that overthinking spiral. Instead, just say, okay, it's a conversation and I'm having a conversation. None of us really think about why we're having the conversation. And trust me on this, if you keep doing it, there's always somewhere the universe is crazy. So it does something, and that network will always make it show up in ways you didn't think about. And I'll give you a story to talk about this. So I've been like attending conferences for a while now. I started off when I was, I think about 6, 7 years ago when I was still in school. I used to go with my mom. She was attending conferences, and I just tag along with her, saying, "Why not?" And for me, it was just a new experience because I was a school-going kid, and my world was very limited to my school textbooks and the people I met in school. So I would just go with my mom because it was new exposure, new people, and I've always been a social bird. So why not talk to people? And eventually, I think that kept building on as I went into university. I started doing stuff myself on stage because I always enjoyed being on stage. And but I would still go ahead with my mom. And we'd attend these conferences together. There were times when she was speaking at these conferences, and I'd sit in the audience and I'd listen. And with time, that's changed, and it's been the other way around, where like she's been in the audience and I've been on stage. There's been a lot of that's happened. And in one of these conferences, again, I was an attendee over there, and I was sitting in the audience, and the people who were organizing this conference, they were part of a big multinational company. And of course, when the conference was over, I just wanted to go say hi to them, tell them what I did, just a basic introduction, to tell them that I loved the kind of topics and the kind of things that we were talking about that day. The whole summit was very beautifully organized. And I did this, and there were 2 to 3 senior leaders. And in today's digital world, the natural way is no more cards. We just do the LinkedIn Connect. So we did the LinkedIn Connect, and that was it. And I didn't do it with the intention that, okay, this person's going to like remember me, or this person's going to give me X business. That was none of my agenda. All I said was, yes, this person was there at the conference. It was great talking to them. Let's remain connected. And that was the start of a network, which was very not selfishly built. They connected with me for absolutely no gains, and I connected with them for absolutely no gains. We stayed in touch, and of course, since we're on LinkedIn, we're actively say posting, we're looking at each other's content. Fast forward to say about 8, 9 months later, I get an email from one of these people from the person I met at the conference saying, "Would like to connect with you to discuss something." And I say, okay. And again, it's a conversation, so you never say no to conversations. So I show up in that meeting, and in those 9 months of a network or relationship that we began with absolutely no actual idea of where it was going to go, they reached out to me because they had been consistently following my work, the kind of stuff that I spoke about, and realized that, oh, now there's something that I feel she can add value to us, so we should reach out to her. And they reached out to me because they wanted me to come and deliver a training workshop for some of their senior leaders as part of a program in their company. And because they'd seen the kind of work that I do and the kind of value add that I was bringing to the table, they realized that I might be somebody who is the right candidate for them to do this. This was not something we realized that afternoon at the conference. We were just talking over. I think we were just eating. I remember I was eating a tiramisu. We're eating and just talking. It was as simple as that. So don't think about what is going to happen, but just make that connection with your authentic self. It'll always make sense somewhere.
Absolutely.